In this episode we found some more pictures to concentrate on the very large arthropod that's on the side of the cliff. So that's a body there. So first time I've actually seen that. So I've gone through the photos 5 or 6 times, but there's the full body of it that we didn't see in the other pictures. Here are the worms coming over the ledge. Obviously they don't know they're going to be someone's lunch, so it's very cunning. These creatures have had millions of years to adapt. They haven't had obviously the big comet causing an ice age that killed the dinosaurs. All the dust is just thrown off into space. It's got a very low atmosphere level. The rumours are that I've read about 2 miles high. Very thin atmosphere, but it's an atmosphere. If creatures survive down the bottom of an ocean where there's sulfuric acid, they can survive on the moon. Okay, I'm getting very nervous about things now. They're happening very quickly. It's the Anderson-Sharonov crater. When we analyse these pictures now, you'll see the whole structure there and one more creature there with the tail. And there's a group of eggs underneath, very large ones. So there's a body. It looks like one of these big, I don't know if you describe it as arthropods or whatever, but here we go. It's very frightening. If you look at it, that could be about 15 metres long. The worms are a couple of metres long. Because there's less gravity, things can grow larger. They've got less stress of movement. So obviously, after millions of years, they can grow to large sizes. I can't believe I'm saying all this. Okay, I'm going quickly now just to go analyse the pictures. I missed this picture many times. I've gone over it and it didn't grasp me what I'm looking at. When it finally grasps you, it looks like one of the creatures on Earth. It's got the very big, large pincer type a body there. Now we just saw normally the pictures these two bits, the front claws, the very large neck, and we didn't see this. It just didn't seem to quite come out of the shadows for what it was. It seems you could jump over it many times and not see what you're looking at. Even with seeing thousands of photos and going over them 4 or 5 times, it wasn't there to be understood. There it is there. That's the whole body of it. I've always kept thinking, what have I seen past those pincer claws down further? Well, this is it. Now the worms, they're white. It looks like they're not hard shell, they're soft. And they're coming over the edge. And they usually they're sticky beaks. They stick their head over. That's why these creatures like to hide in the shade. It's easy food, easy prey. 12 hours of sunlight to sunbake. Let's go to the next picture. It's just a little bit hard to grasp what I'm looking at and the actual extent to what is down there. I'm getting very, very, very nervous of how good I'm becoming and how quick I'm just... well, there's a whole group of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's sticking its head up. That's coming over. That's the actual whole creature there. Let's go to the next picture. There are these pincer claws. That's huge. That must be at least 50 metres long. The worm's a couple of metres. Again, this is all from Hasselblad photos, Apollo 16, which was 1972. We're talking about 41-year-old photos now. It's like you're 100 metres away with a poor quality cheap camera. That's how close we're getting. And there it is there. That's fantastic. I'm just trying to get the next photo. That was something on the edge. I'm not sure what that is. Again, it might get to me later on, but this is from the same photo. And that's the shot that just explains what's going on down there. The legs I don't think would be that large. They don't need that strong legs when there's low gravity up there. That just could be a smaller one. Larva, that's the tail of something else. They're always in the dark areas of the crevice. That's why they're probably hard to pick up by a NASA satellite photos. By hiding in the crevices, in the corners, you're not going to be able to pick them up. These are nodular structures. Let's go back. Yep, this could be a group of eggs right there. NASA would not be able to pick these things up, I believe. That's the other creature just on the rock ledge. And there's one more underneath. And there's like a little, I didn't pick this up before, it's like a body structure. It's very nodular, but obviously we've seen that before. We haven't analysed to the extent that I've actually picked up now what we're looking at. So because I'm zooming in, I can't actually get the rest of the body here. I'll actually lose the resolution. Easy not to pick up by satellite photos, obviously, with the current cameras, because obviously they're always in the corner. They could be picked up as a shadow or something. There's the pincer claws. That's the money shot. We've analysed those claws closer before. I've got other pictures of that just from this area, and I just saw the neck there, so that's why I didn't know what was going on there. I knew it was attached to a lot larger body, but I couldn't prove it. We'll just look at those pictures now. Okay. I'll just zoom in those pictures. Mind you, we've got about 4 or 5 pictures to analyse, which are quick time lapse. So when Apollo 16 was rapidly taking these pictures, you got different angles and shadows, obviously, on the creature. So there's a bit of light hitting the top of it. You've got arthropod characteristics, very nodular, and what looks like 2 either eyes or very sensitive antenna right there. Click to another one. This is the same type of picture, but I haven't seen this angle before. What I thought was one structure there is like a group of worms on the ledge, and there's that structure down the bottom. This is a closer image of, we've got now sunlight on one side and also the other lower bit. So I think as we flew over, that's one of the creature there I had a photo of, and it's got a big round eye in the front, and it's triangular. Actually, I saw something like that in one of the Stephen Hawking's NASA films, if life exists on other planets. So that's not scary, the triangular thing with one eye, but that one there looks a bit nasty, that critter. Look at that perfect round object at the end. Very nodular. Could be more for vision and a tactile sensation. I assume that could be just, I don't know what it could be. So we're just zooming in there. And that's one, smaller worms. That one's a bit larger. You'll see that arm-like and a few nodules further up. A little larger if we can just have a closer look. That's it there. So we've now seen the whole body of it, which, as you see, if I've gone through these photos 5 or 6 times and I couldn't grasp it, I just accidentally grasped it now by thinking I've found everything and I just want to call it quits. Okay, let's go see some more. Now we have sunlight on both of these antennae or claws, where before we had none. So as we're flying over about 100 kilometers and the pictures are rapidly clicked, there's a change in angle. So that's what we're seeing due to that change in angle. So I'll just enlarge it. The clearer ones were the darker ones, so basically that's why. Let's go and find other pictures. That's it there, and that's probably part of the body as it stood up. I didn't see that before. I didn't grasp that as being part of the longer body. Here are like 2 or 3 larvae coming over, worms. And here's our new friend, which is a bit triangular, roundy, a few knobs there, one there, one there. And what we saw before was a huge eye in the center. But this is what we're concentrating on, the guy down the bottom. The other ones can't move that quick, but I don't think they can move that quick. Or on the other hand, they've got less gravity. I haven't seen any indications of any quick moving objects. All these look like very big arthropods here on Earth. They have no reason to be quick there because everything else is crawling. There's worms, there's things, there's nothing that looks like hops or has legs that runs quick or flies, except the one thing we saw which had very, very thin legs and looked like wings in the back. So I'm just going backwards in what I'm saying, and that was in a separate episode. I'm getting nervous because that's our body there. Okay, and this is our friend on the other side. So I think it's just part of a leg or a tail. That goes all the way on the right hand side of the picture. We have a bit of sunlight coming on there. It's very nodular. We've got very dark eggs down the bottom, so I think that's their eggs rather than part of the body of that. And we don't see any more of that. I can't see any other images. What we do see is those little white worms down the bottom. There's one there standing up with a shadow, and there's two there. In one other picture, I've got a very good picture of these worms just coming on the hook of one of these creatures, thinking it's part of the rock platform. I'll quickly go back to that picture. I didn't realise the full extent of it till I saw the length of this creature. Then I realised they just sit there, their claws are hanging out, and the worms just climb onto it, thinking it's part of the rock ledge. Okay, let's go back. Here's one more picture. You've got the sunlight. There's a little bit of shadow now on that worm, and there's that triangular object on the top. So with that one, we got a bit better picture. Let's go quickly. I've seen this picture before. It's just a bit clearer picture of the end of it. And that's one there, which is like a worm, but it's a bit more structured. It's got a head, it's got that arm, so it just drags itself along. This is one more view of what the worms look like and how they crawl over structures. And this is probably one of the clearest pictures I've found of these worms, so they're probably larger, probably a few meters large. Again, this shouldn't shock us. I mean, we've all watched David Attenborough, The Living Planet. We watched lions devour a buffalo when we're having a dinner. That's always the time when he puts his series on, or the TV stations put their series on, when your kids are having dinner and lions are ripping up a buffalo and very nice sweet antelope, and the hyenas hack into the carcasses. So why should this now surprise us or be shocking? These are creatures, they've adapted, there's a food cycle happening. One's basically arthropod, harder shell outside, softer inside. We have that on Earth. The others are soft, the worms. There's one there, wriggling with the head. It shouldn't shock us. It shouldn't shock us. They virtually adapted the same as creatures here. So if any of these amino acids were transformed and life started up, obviously when they hit the Earth, and if you believe that, I mean, from a few atoms all of a sudden we get all these creatures, and the worms always stay worms, and here on Earth monkeys are always monkeys. They're not half between human and monkeys, and alligators are always staying alligators. They're not coming out much. So I don't think that theory holds up here as well. The worms will always be worms on the moon. They've had millions of years to adapt, and those big arthropods will always be under the cliffs waiting with hard outer skeletons. And so that's what the worm looks like. One more picture. And this is the first time I've seen this guy here on top of the cliff, and there's where the white worms are, and the large arthropod is down the bottom waiting for lunch. This new critter has one eye in the front. There it is there. It looks sort of round the front, triangular towards the back. He's got these larger nodules, and he's got probably little side legs, and he crawls around. I'm not sure what part of the food chain he is. Is he eaten, or does he eat others, or the plant life? Now, I'm sure there's plant life there. I did see all these peculiar things in the Apollo shots on previous series. They look like more barnacles on a sea floor. But they were growing. They were growing there upright, and quite a good picture was censored. You could see resolution was censored there. So there is plant life, obviously, with this as well. Let's just zoom in on this new critter. There's the shadow. There's the big eye in the front. It's very wide and then triangular. It's got little nodules, and there's one worm on the side of it. But this series we concentrated on the very, very big arthropod on the edge, and we can't blame NASA for not obviously catching the large one, because he's always hiding in the shadows on the edge of these crevices, and that's how he survives. Next. One more, a picture of our friend, so you can sleep well after watching this. There he is. The back part reminds me of I have to find out what insect it was on Earth. It's got large pincers in the back. That's what I'm seeing there. And then there's the body, the curvy neck structure and the claws. And there's the worms. Happy to come over the edge, sticky beaking what's down there. And there's one larger structure coming over, so that's enough